Hello, everyone, and welcome to the fourth annual Game Developers Expo 2019. I am Patrick Smith, and I'm here with several of Mount West freshmen who have done amazing games here. I'm here with Gary Brafford, Jacob Johnson, and Jeffery Simmons of Wolfpack Studios. How's it going, gentlemen?
It's going good.
So, you all have an amazing amount of output behind me here, and I'm going to be showing this to everybody out there. So, whichever one of you all wants to get started, I want to know about what aspects of the games you all worked on, but also what brought you to game design. So in this case, Jacob, I guess you can start off.
What brought me to game design was getting my first console when I was really young.
I'm
Scared.
I'm scared to ask what console that was based on how old I am.
Nintendo 64.
You know what? I guessed that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I had an Intellivision. I'm older.
I was in love with it. I had Star Fox, and I would play it until the controllers were just useless. But I never really thought I'd actually get into the aspect of animation and game design until I was older. I had gotten my GED and went straight into Mount West and joined the 2+2 program, and I really enjoyed myself. I thoroughly like it.
Cool. And so, based on the stuff we have here, are you the one that's been working with Blender? Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm doing the modeling.
Okay, so you're doing a lot of the modeling. So,
Yes.
based on the modeling that you're doing, have you then using that modeling in any of your fellow classmates' games at this point?
We've been using it in Clockwork Dark. I did the one creature that's in this standalone. It was for a game jams at Marshall. Just had 2 days to make it, and we came up with it. And
Okay.
I was the first time doing my head sculpture, and I just attached it to something ugly that I had made before. And
There you go. Okay, fantastic. So, Gary, what about you? What was your first foray, or when did you finally go, you know what, I think I want to do this?
Right about the time I played Combat on Atari 2600.
Okay, you're getting more my age. Here we go. I'm with you.
I was asked what game I remember first playing in class, and like everybody mentioned Donkey Kong 64 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like going, oh no,
Yeah.
because mine's way older than that.
Yeah. I hear you. Well, I was never an Atari guy. We had an Intellivision growing up, so I was
always jealous of the Intellivision because the games were so nice for it compared to what Atari would output.
Sure.
A lot of what got me into it was when I first started playing them, the creativity that goes into them, being able to pretty much make anything or be anywhere or play any kind of story from any angle. Yeah,
Right.
It's just up to your imagination what you can build.
Do you find that intimidating though, because that scope is so large?
Not really. It's kind of liberating in a way because
Okay.
you have so much room to play with. You can do anything you want. So if an idea pops in your head, you can prototype something, try it out, let your friends try it, and then go, well, that didn't work, and try something else.
Okay. So I know that Jacob was already saying he was doing the Blender stuff. Which of the games have you worked on here that you all are showing?
Rofaxon over here behind him was my first legitimate game release, and it was on Xbox 360. My second one is this one right here beside you, Kerbang. It's basically an ode to the old Atari Kaboom game. And this one here was done because of unemployment, so I wanted to
the
Rofaxon. So it was done out of desperation, and I finished it in 6 weeks with nobody on the crew but me. And
So you said it's on 360?
it was on the Indie Games,
Okay.
and when they closed Indie Games, then it was no longer available.
Okay. So I want to back up with you for a second because you're a freshman here at MCTC, but that store was around a lot longer ago. So when did you start doing programming?
Around 8 years old when Dad got me a color computer.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I had a Coco 2 with a cassette deck.
Okay.
So my first forays into programming was BASIC.
I see.
And then it evolved, and Dad got me a machine assembler for the Coco. And I
The more you
didn't.
talk, the older you get.
I know.
Well, I was shocked when you said that was on the Xbox 360 games on the marketplace, and I was like, wait, do what? So like you had a commercial game out there, and that was
Yeah, in
several years.
2013.
Yeah, 2013. Okay, so you coming here to Mount West, you already have some pedigree under your belt.
Well, I had enough to know that I was dangerous.
Oh, okay.
Building the project, it kind of showed me what I didn't know and what I needed to know,
Okay.
and that I needed more refinement. Like, especially in my code, it was sloppy and messy. So I know I needed better structure to how I lay things out,
Right.
so that things operate more fluidly and are easier to debug down the road, because
Right.
I painted myself into a couple of corners.
Yeah.
And when it came time to fix it, it would be dump all the code and rewrite it from scratch.
But I will say that's an amazing accomplishment, because if you think back to Christian's keynote yesterday, he talked about how important it is to finish a project so you at least see the complete work of it, so you can then learn from it and do better. So that's amazing.
And a large part of why I finished it was where I was on unemployment, where I've been laid off from work. I'd always wanted to get into game development, but none of the schools really had anything for it. They would have programming for like Ada or C++ or something like that, but nothing
Right.
really geared for game design
Sure.
until here recently.
Yeah.
And it made it where as in middle school, I would have to go to the local library and get books from other states,
Right.
long ways off, 6 to 8 weeks,
Sure.
to learn how to program.
Wow.
And I had to kind of teach myself the maths that went along with it.
Right. So you did your first, what kind of reminds me of like Defender R-type game. You did that. That was your first commercial game.
Yeah, my heyday for video games for these guys was like N64. Mine was
Sure.
the PC Engine.
Yeah. Okay.
And I had a lot of those import games, and I loved that system.
How did you get a piece? I mean, okay, you said import, good. How? Okay, I'm curious how you got a PC Engine, because I heard of it, never got to see one personally, because it's not like you could go to a Babbage's and buy one.
Well, my cousin Brad Kalinowski, he
Oh.
had access.
Okay.
To,
I did not know you. I did not know you were cousins with Dave and Brad. Okay.
Yeah. And,
Okay. That explains a lot.
He knew friends that were out west, and they could get contact
Sure.
with places that imported video games, and we would get like PC Engine imports and run them on the TurboGrafx from America.
Nice, yeah.
So I got to play like Dracula X, and nobody over here got to see
Right,
that game.
sure.
I got to play the CD version of R-Type.
Mm-hmm.
And so those games kind of molded what I felt games needed to kind of come back to.
Sure.
Challenge and quality.
Right. So you did that game, you said when you were unemployed, so you had time, you're like, I'm gonna learn this.
Yeah.
When did you end up finishing your second game over here?
This one was finished and uploaded to the store 3 days before I came to class. I just understood it. I had taken a 36-hour course in Unity, so I understood it enough that I could build a simple game. I wanted to make something that I could play while I was downloading larger games, like Fallout or something like that.
Sure.
Just something small that didn't use a lot of bandwidth.
Right.
And so I remembered Kaboom and how much fun it was.
Right.
So I just kind of applied that to some RPG Maker sprites that I owned and built a simple game out of it. And I'll be honest, I was shocked how many people stayed on this thing for over the last 2 days.
Well, that's awesome, sir. I mean, that's amazing. That's cool. So, Jeff, what about you? What have you been working on in this amazing? I mean, you all have an amazing amount of output here. What have you all been working? No, but it's a wonderful mess to have. It's amazing.
The main one I've been working on is Clockwork Dark. I mainly been working on the environment, laying out the level, and I modeled out a lot of like the gear torches you see in there, the pipes, the weapons that you see around. I modeled that out using Maya, because I can't get Blender's camera to agree with me at all.
Oh, wow,
So
okay.
I've been using Maya
to
model that out. I modeled out like the fire extinguisher that's in the VR classroom project. I modeled that out, and I modeled out the first edition of the floor, and then that file got messed up, and then it was remade again.
I'm
when it was-
sure faster and better the second time because
Oh yeah, it
you'd already
was
figured it all out.
when we remade it the second time. We made it using the actual like floor plans, so
Yeah.
it was much more to scale and much cleaner than what
I
it
got
was.
you. I got you. Wow. Okay. Well, so when I was seeing Clockwork Dark being played, it reminded me a little bit of the game here that you all talked about on the game jam. So was this kind of like we did this on a game jam? Now let's push this even further with Clockwork Dark.
Well, we all worked on this
Uh huh.
like first while we was all in class together.
Okay.
I would say Clockwork Dark rubbed off on the game jam.
Yeah,
Definitely.
and then Gary and Jacob worked on that one. I didn't know that they were just taking part in the game jam.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah.
actually did my
It was
own project
miscommunication.
for the game jam that it wasn't that great,
Uh huh.
but I made that while actually at Marshall during the game jam that they had hours set up there in the lab.
One thing that's good about our group is that if we see something needs done, we just dive in and start working on it.
Sure.
But sometimes you end up with situations where he works on a game jam, and then we have one started too. And so
Yeah.
we're
I got
going,
you.
Heck with it.
So, do you all have advice for somebody who wants to get into programming? We can start with you, Jeff. If you have any advice for somebody who wants to start doing this, I mean, you all are all freshmen, and I'm thoroughly impressed with the amount of output you all have had already. But what would you tell people out there who's thinking about it?
You definitely have to have dedication and drive. That's something that nobody can really teach you. If you have that, you really,
The
you
knowledge
have
is easy to get to.
Yeah, knowledge is easy to get to because you have YouTube, Google. You can go to Udemy, which actually I did before I came here on Unity. That's how I learned a little bit of programming myself. and
Right.
All that on the side. But you can really get ahead if you're willing to put in the hours and the time, and if you have that dedication.
Honestly, a lot of professionals in the field won't hesitate to help you out. They'll show you as if you're stuck on something, they'll give you a hand. I haven't bumped into anybody that's been, withholding like how to do collision detection or something like that. They're always real quick to say, "Oh, you do it like this."
But I also I guess too it does come back to what Jeff said. I have heard of people trying to ask a professional how to do something. You got to already have some onus there and be like, look, I figured out this 99%. Can you just show me this 1%? Because you
Show
don't
me what I'm doing wrong.
You don't want to go to someone and be like, how do I do this?
Yeah.
And they're like, what part? There's 100 parts. So
Yeah.
I think that's true. But keep in mind, if you go to a professional, everybody out there, make sure you've actually done something. Just don't show up and be like, I don't know how to do any of it. So have something to be like, what part is wrong with this? Can you please help?
Yeah, it helps if you just kind of ask for some assistance, but not necessarily say, how do I do this, and then want them to do it for you.
Right.
Because they're not going to do it for you.
Right. Jacob, what about you? What advice would you have for somebody?
The biggest thing is use your imagination and stay away from intimidation. Like when I first started out, I was, my heart would skip a beat from time to time because I was like, wow, what am I getting into? These are terms I've never heard before. This is a whole new concept. But with time, squeaky wheel gets the oil, and it all came together.
Okay.
So just don't let it scare you is the biggest
Right.
thing.
Okay. Well, fantastic, gentlemen. You all have amazing amounts of work here. How do you all as a team with Wolfpack, do you all have your games out there? I know, Gary, you already said your 2 games are out on, they're out there, but these newer games you're all making, is there a place some people can contact you all at to get more on those?
Other than our emails right now, we don't have such a source.
Okay.
We have been talking a lot the past couple days and today, really, of trying to get something launched before the end of the year onto the Xbox Marketplace.
Okay.
Mainly because we can hit the PC and a game console all in one blow.
Well, because now with like the Windows 10, Xbox One, you can do both of them,
exactly.
right?
You can deploy a game to 2 platforms that are major platforms.
Okay. Well, so at this point, just I know you all don't have your all stuff, but Gary, right now, can people still get to your original game?
Not on Refaxon anymore. The indie games shut down, and when they
Right.
did that, the front end system that was a part of Xbox Live that launched those indie games died.
Well, I was hoping that the fact that Xbox One plays a lot of 360s, I was hoping that would work for
that
your
was
game.
a big point of discussion for them for a couple of months, how to re-implement them, but
Right.
they were doing away with the X and A architecture and
Okay.
going to something completely different.
What about your second game? Is this
It's
out?
available right now on the Windows Store. You can get to it.
And what was the name of that one again?
Kerbang.
Kerbang?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's out there on the Windows Store?
Yeah, it's
So-
just $1.
So then you can get that. You can play that on Windows 10, Windows 8, Windows mobile devices
Should
as well?
run on Windows 10 and Xbox.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
That's actually running on an Xbox One X right now.
Okay. Well, cool, gentlemen. Fantastic. I'm very, very impressed. Thank you all for showing all this stuff at the Expo.
Well, thank you for taking interest.
Yeah, thanks.